Welcome to Playing with Science. We're going to be doing some simple science investigations that you can try out at home. Doing some little experiments where you change something, maybe observe something, measure something, and learn something new. All about playing with science. Hello, I'm Samantha from Twinkl, and thank you so much for joining us today. Now, before we get started on our experiments, we've got a wonderful Facebook group for Twinkl home educators, and a few of you have been sharing some brilliant science pictures on there, so I just thought we'd share a few of those now. This one is a brilliant one using the Twinkl sheets to do observations of different rocks. Observation is a really good science skill, and it's really important in nearly all science investigations and experiments. So that's some top work there. Next picture is this brilliant one of the water cycle. I love how shiny the sun is with some fluffy clouds. It really looks like it might be raining. Thanks so much for that one. And lastly, we've got a brilliant experiment looking at volumes of different containers, putting liquids in them, especially when you've got different shaped containers. That is another great experiment and will really help you out with today's one. So today's experiment is all about bubble painting, and we're going to be playing around lots with bubble painting. There is some brilliant Twinkl resources all about bubble experiments, and you'll find the link in the description below. These are free as well, so if you haven't got Twinkl, it's a really good way of trying it out. Now, scientists do lots of different experiments all the time at whatever level of science, where they change something to learn something new. So today, when we look at bubble painting, we're also going to be looking at changing something to play around and see what new things we can learn. Bubbles are absolutely fascinating though, and I love playing with them. Perhaps you can have a quick hunt at home and see how many bubbles you can find. My favourite are the ones in chocolate. Bubbles are always sphere, no matter what shape blower you use as well, which is fascinating. This is because it requires less energy for the bubbles to be this shape because it's a smaller surface area. So it's almost like the bubbles are lazy. Bubbles are also lots of different colours if you look closely, using those good science observation skills. And this is to do with the way they reflect light. And if you look even closer, as a bubble is about to pop, it actually changes colour. And this is because the surface of the bubble is getting thinner, so it reflects light differently. The world's biggest bubble was over 90 cubic metres. That is huge! Bubble makers spend lots of time experimenting with their bubble mixes to make them as good as they can be and make the biggest bubbles they can. So that's another experiment you want to try. See if you can change your mixtures when you're doing your bubble painting. So let's have a look at how to do our bubble painting. So to start our bubble painting, we've put everything we need on this tray. So today we've got a small tray, some paint, some washing up liquid, some straws, some water and some paper. We've also got the sheet from Twinkl all about bubble painting, just to help us out to make sure we've got everything. The first thing you want to do is add your washing up liquid and your paint. And then give them a really good stir around. You can just use a straw with that. And then also add your water. So once you've mixed your paint, your washing up liquid and a little bit of water together, give it all a really good stir with your straw and then blow. Just grab your piece of paper, push it on, and oh, that's amazing! Wow, I love it. Now I wonder what we could do next to play with our science, because this is really simple to do, but to play with science we've got to change something and see what we can learn. So what could we change? We could change the paint we're using. So you could, if you've got different paints at home, try maybe watercolours or food colouring, or even just different colours of paint and see how they get on. You could try changing the container, because actually this container was quite large and I found it quite fiddly to use. So I'm going to see if I can try some different containers. I've got a smaller rectangular pot, little round dish and a tall little round dish. I'm going to add my paint to each of them, then blow and see what pictures I can make this way. That's really fascinating, because I found out if I use a slightly taller container, it actually makes it harder to blow the bubbles, but lower containers work really well. So I'm really happy with this picture I've made. So you could change your container, you could try changing your paint, you could even try different bubble mixtures. I'd love to know how you get on, so do let us know in the comments below or in the Twinkl Home Educators Facebook group if you search in there, and don't forget to use the hashtag #PlayingWithScience. Now this has been designed specifically for younger children because obviously they can do very simple experiments with it. However, you can easily stretch it to older children, even GCSE, or your PhD might be all about the best paints to use for bubble painting. See how far you can take it. There's some Twinkl investigation sheets you could use for this, as well as simple things just like counting the number of bubbles, measuring the bubbles, using a ruler, and even graphing it by measuring really accurately how much bubble mix you measure out, how much water mix you measure out. Take it as far as you can, but start simple and just have lots of fun playing with science.